Manny Holman, and I'm so pleased to be here. And I will tell you, this is the first time that I publicly spoke about this. So if I throw up, faint, or start crying, I'll get that in. But I got notes on my daughter's iPad, which by the way, quite well to figure out. It's a big phone. So I'm Manny Holman. I am the CEO and founder of The Galley, and that is in San Jose, California. We are a cannabis manufacturer and distribution. So what we do is you as a brand, you can come to me and say, make me a t-shirt, make me a topical, roll me a pre-roll, bake me an edible, chocolate, candy. I've got an 8,300 square foot building in San Jose. I have to tell you, as I started to write the notes for this presentation, when it got down on paper, I almost backed out because I was just like, all of my missteps and oversights, it just adds up to such a whale of errors. And I thought, these people are going to think I'm just a complete bonehead. But I'm here to tell you I'm not. And I really want to share my journey with you because I don't want you to make the same mistakes as I did. And I have to tell you that mistakes that seem so glaring, they're not sometimes. And so I just want to kind of go through my journey with you and let you know what has happened to me and where I'm going. So a little bit about my background. I used to be a graphic designer. I had a very successful design firm since 1987. I worked 4 days a week and I made a lot of money, and then I got into cannabis. But anyways, in 2015, I had a customer, one of my design customers, and she went to the Kentucky Derby and she won $250,000. And she threw this money on me and she said, go start us a medical bakery. I'm like, well, I don't know how to bake, but okay. So I did that. We were very, very successful in the state of California because we were one of the first brands to go ahead and stick that really nice CO2 oil in our cookies. So we went from eating, dirt and rock and weedy cookie to this really nice, fluffy bakery cookie that tasted very good. We were serving the medical industry because back then California was just medical, and it was an extremely gratifying shift for me. Extremely. After being a graphic designer for so long and sitting in my chair all day, my hand was mouse hand. I have mouse hand. So I was so happy to be out and about and be meeting with patients, and we service vets and HIV patients and cancer patients and end-of-life patients. And it was just incredibly gratifying to be in the medical industry, which is why I stepped into cannabis to begin with. This was back in the day when I could load up my station wagon that takes me. Which we have done. Very old one. But and I would drive all over the state with a carload of cookies and peanut butter cups, and I would sell everything I had, and I would come home with 10 grand. I was like, woo! I don't know where those days went either, but hopefully they'll be back. This was mostly a positive experience for me, mostly. But here's the lesson in what I got out of this. I'm going to talk to you about partnership contracts, defining roles, and exit plans. On your contracts, do not be loose on these contracts. No handshakes. Even if there's just two of you, there was just two of us. So we never had a contract between us. We didn't think anything of it because we were friends for 30 years. Don't do that. Also, define your roles. And let me give you an example about this. Don't let your partner fund the business and you do all the work. So you need to define those roles for your work team. Also, an exit plan. You have to have an exit plan, and you need to talk about that exit plan before you exit. We did not have an exit plan. And as a result of that, later on, when I wanted to bring Derby Bakery back up again, I couldn't do it because my ex-partner came at me and said, I want some money. So I kind of walked away. So let's fast forward a little bit. In California, the Prop 64 passes, it becomes legal recreationally. So I'm looking for a new project. I met some folks at a trade show. They had a big building in Santa Rosa, zoned for cannabis. They were planning to do extraction. And so I went over to visit them and I said, you know, don't do that. Everybody's doing that. Let's get co-packers. Because remember, the law changed and you couldn't just rent a kitchen anymore. You had to be in a licensed facility, and that was us. So that's what we ended up doing, and we formed this corporation called The Galley. Here's the lesson. Vet, vet, vet. I did not know these people though. I did not vet these people. I signed on the dotted line and paid my seed money. I was too trusting and not wrong. So The Galley had 3 partners. One of my partners was the CEO, or so she thought. I was the CMO, and my other partner, I'm not exactly sure what she did except mess things up. So I'm being nice. So I ended up buying her out. I was the person who raised the money, and I raised $3 million off the get-go, all by myself. Here's the lesson in that. This is going to be a very similar lesson. I didn't get the first one. I did not research my financial partners adequately. I signed on the dotted line and took their money. You see a thing here? Sign it, take, don't do that. I had this really cool royalty deal. It was kind of like a record deal. And I thought, man, that's awesome. Nobody else is doing that. Well, it would have been way cooler if I had hired the right attorney to exactly explain this deal to me and help me understand this was not a good deal. So, things at The Galley went sideways really quickly. Our build out was budgeted for $850,000. We ended up spending $3.2 million.
Holy cow.
Because it was mismanaged. Not by him. We also had a year and a half of stalls with construction and licensing and just general operations. And here's the worst part of this thing. My CEO, she had a hold of all the financials and all of the books. And every time I asked her, I need to see this, she would say to me, stay in your lane. So by the way, don't say that to me ever. She'd always say, stay in your lane. I'm the CEO, you're the CMO, that's my job. You don't need to see the books. You don't need to be.
Want that?
Well, for a time I thought that. Not very long. It was then when I really started seeing some cracks because I was starting to really pay attention to what was going on around me. And I started to understand that our CEO really may not have any idea what she was doing. And let me give you an example about that. Shortly after we opened, right as COVID launched, mind you, which was a challenge in itself, our builder who was doing all the construction, he approached me one day and he said, hey, do you know if there's any other owners on site here? I was like, what? I'm an owner. He goes, oh, I was told you were an employee. I said, by who? You can guess who told me. So I said, no, I'm an owner. And he said, well, you owe me a lot of money. And I'm just like, what? It's a horrible feeling, you know? So here's the lesson. You need to have your hands in everything in startup phase. And I know that's not healthy going forward, but in the beginning, you need to be at a high level, have your hands in everything. Until the roles are fine-tuned and determined. But after that fact, you still need to trust and verify all day long. And here's the kicker. You must, as a partner owner, have access to the financials from day one, or it's game off. No deal. You must. That was probably one of my mistakes. So after a lot of shoving back and forth, I was granted access to the books. I spent a weekend looking at them, and when I saw all the fraud and the embezzlement and the cover-ups, I seriously wanted to throw up, pass out, whatever. It was horrifying. I just was like, every line I read, QuickBooks or in the bank, you know, I was just, what is this, what is that? Here's the worst part of this whole thing. Our CEO basically stopped paying all of our bills, all of them. Like medical for my employees, property insurance if someone slips and falls. The builder, remember the builder who thought I was an employee, she stopped paying everything. And as a result of that, she left me $2.2 million in debt.
Wow.
So I fired her. It was right when COVID started, and I remember we all had masks on, and I was like, man, it's a good goddamn thing that I got a mask on. There's a look on my face, you know, like, ah. So, fire somebody like that, an owner, that's easy. You can do that all day long. But here's what you can't do. She was still on my board of directors, and she still owns shares in the company, okay? So I had to hire an attorney at my expense to pursue moving her from the board and asking her to sell, or demanding that she sell back her shares, which, by the way, she never paid for. The first question this attorney asked me, and this is really important, if you hear anything I say today, please hear this. First question I was asking, hey Andy, where's your cause clause in your bylaws? I said, what? What a cause clause does, and it must be in your bylaws, it protects you from embezzlement and fraud, and it allows you to take a C-suite person and kick them out and get them off your boards, and you get to buy their shares back for what they paid for, paid for them. So in her case, it would have been nothing. But here's the lesson. Your corporate bylaws are the law, okay? Don't just skim them and read them. My pattern again, right? If I had my personal attorney read those bylaws, she would have come up to me and said, Annie, where's your cause clause? Where is it? Like, it's missing. It's standard language. And at that time, I could have removed my CEO, no problem. It would have been okay. But instead, I had to hire another attorney, go to battle with her, and end up costing me personally $185,000 because I could not have my company pay for it. That's not allowed. If my company had paid for it, they would have had to pay for all her attorneys too. So that's how that's done. So it's really, really important to be really clear on your bylaws right from the get-go. It should be one of the first things that you do. So at this point, I had to go back to my investors and get on my knees and beg for more funding. Because remember, I was left $2.2 million in debt. And of course, we've all talked about today, that is absolutely zero fun. And as a result, my really cool royalty deal got really bad and very predatory. And I was stuck. You know, I had 14 employees, I had customers, I had a company to run. So I took the bad deal. So here's a lesson in that. And this is a word that you might want to use from time to time. I should have told my investors to fuck off. Yeah. But guess what? I didn't stick up for myself. I was afraid. I didn't reach out for help. And it was so perplexing to me because I'm a really strong woman. I mean, I was raised by two hippie parents back in the 60s when all these new concepts that we've all adopted now, that's what I believed, And my mom was like, you can do anything a man can do. Thus I was a tomboy for a very long time. But anyways, so I let my investors trample all over me. I mean, all over me. They beat me up. And it was a tough and callous lesson to learn. And I can say with 100% confidence, I got that lesson. So fast forward a little bit, it's the middle of COVID, everything's haywire, and it's just me running the company all by myself. And I first had to step in as the CEO. And of course, I had to Google that because I had no clue what that meant. And just so we're clear here, CEO means do everything. But you know what? I got myself a mentor and I learned the job. And I did a really good job at it. But I was also the CMO, the CFO, the C whatever fuck else. And I was the janitor and the event planner, and I was HR and the doctor's in, you know. I mean, I was exhausted trying to run this company. And let me remind you, I come from sole proprietor. So I stepped into this project thinking I was going to have all this support. I had nothing done. So here's the lesson in that. And I can't express this enough. You must have proper support people around you in the C-suite positions, whether it's just a CMO and a CFO and a COO, you know, just at least 2 other people around you. And also you need to make sure you have enough staff. I mean, my core staff was all wearing 5 hats. I was wearing 10. You know, my funders were just dribbling money at me a little at a time. It made it virtually impossible to run this business properly. And when you have so much on your brain and trying to run this company, your accord is just off. And your judgment is off. And your decision making is absent. And you end up making mistakes that sometimes they can't be reversed. So it's really, really important to have that daily support. I mean, I'll give you an example, it was like a Star Wars movie, all day long. I'm sitting there trying to make all these decisions by myself. And it was really hard, so don't do that. So that's my daily grind. I was trying to pay down the $2.2 million in debt. This again was during COVID. We had very big fires in Sonoma County 2 years in a row. This caused me to shut down, you know, and reopen a bunch. And I needed help. But I looked to the wrong people for help. I looked to my investors. Okay, 2 minutes. I think I got it. So here's a lesson in investors' relationships. Do not ask your investors for help. That's not what they're there. And here's what happens when you do. They gain control over your company. They dangle money over your head so they can control you and your company. And you lose control. It also causes you to lose your mojo and your heart and your spirit. And that happens to me. I lost control of my company. So I struggled to stay afloat. And then at the beginning of this year, my investors forced me to make a decision that I knew was wrong. They wanted me to completely scrap my business as a co-manufacturer and run out our own brands under a new brand and a new company. I was like, in this depressed market? Like, no, that's not gonna work. But we tried it and it failed. So after 6 very, very stressful months, my investors raised another $2.9 million for the company. I was told I was going to get that money. They gave me $500,000, and in July this year, they walked away from me. So here's the lesson in that. However painful it was for me to temporarily shut down my facility, furlough all my employees, and not get paid myself, this is the best thing that ever could happen to me. Because now I recognize all these new paths, and I have a new path that's really great and I'm really excited about. And this gave me the grit and determination to keep going. And most important, I'm extracting all of these lessons that I learned and I'm giving them to you. And lastly, my biggest lesson that I learned, and we all know this, especially as women, we're given a 6th sense. Always trust your gut. Because when you don't, it doesn't work out well. So where do I stand today? I'm rebooting The Galley. I have a new partner. It's a women-owned business. I'm super excited about it. I can't tell you who it is yet. I wish I could. I also built a little consulting company. It's called Bloom Consulting. Because I want to help people, especially in other states, you know, that are starting companies like I am, not do the same things that I did. And I'd like to just really quickly leave you with something that I just learned. So, and this is so helpful. When you're in a room full, like a small room or even a large room, and you're feeling stressed or you feel like you're losing control of the room, here's what you do. You breathe from your heart, right here. That's for your breath. You slow it down and you breathe from your heart. And when you're doing that, you think of something that you have gratitude for, like your dog or your husband, your coffee, whatever it is. And you will be amazed how the energy in the room changes when you're just breathing from your heart. And I encourage you, I was in so many very intense investor meetings, and when I started doing that, I got all the control back. So I would encourage you to try that. It really does work. Anyways, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, woo!
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm going to say that my favorite part was that she used a first word.
Yeah.
I think I did twice. That's okay. I was debating, but Thank you.
Be you.
I'm having a non-podcast right now, so all things that I can't say right now, I gotta be working professional. It's interesting, she was talking about, I love just listening to everybody's story and the processes they've been through, and breathing from the heart is a very, very specific thing, and if you don't do that, you won't be able to move through some of the challenges in business or life in general. But I love how she was saying, remember to trust your gut. We kind of touched on that a couple times today, that you gotta trust that gut instinct. And one of the things is really doing your research. If you have to raise capital, you really need to do your research to make sure that's the fit of